ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, my next guest, has been very visible during the televised hearings over the last few weeks. He's also widely recognized as one of the funnier people in Washington. Please welcome Congressman Barney Frank. How are you? Thank you for doing this.
I'm doing well.
This has been, these hearings, let's talk about them for a second. Many people here saw the judiciary hearings. There were some great moments of drama there, but you maintain it was also, could get pretty boring at times, even for the people involved, like yourself. Is that true?
Yeah, it was, I guess, the first kind of great historical event I got involved in, great in the sense of the impact. And what you realize is, any movie you see about history or book you read, they inevitably leave out the long, boring parts. I mean, there are times when just people are being boring. It's actually what congressmen get paid to do, so that's not
right.
But
if there was a movie about this, it would cut right to some exciting moment. They
exactly.
wouldn't.
You get all the highlights, and they don't show people getting hungry or going to the bathroom or doing the other things like the cow did out in the hall.
Yeah, and, I heard about that accident. What about?
Actually made me feel at home having the cow do that.
What about what was the most boring part to you? I mean, there was a part where you actually just left, wasn't there?
Well, Kenneth Starr was reading his report, and he gave us his report, and as he presented it to us, I started reading it, and I read faster than he talks. I sleep faster than he talks. And he spoke very, very slowly. I think he'd been told by the people around him that he was not one of the 230 million most popular people in America at the time that he spoke, and that he really wanted to make sure that he made a good impression. And he seemed to think that he'd make a good impression by being calm and emotionless and not too angry. So he spoke very slowly. I was sitting there and listening to him and realizing that everything he was saying he'd already written down, and he was following it word for word.
Right.
So I went to the gym.
You just got up and said, I'm going to the gym.
No, I'm not dumb. I got up and went to the gym. I didn't say that. I went there.
You said I have an important matter to discuss with my staff.
I couldn't interrupt him.
Right.
And I went down. Actually, I was watching him on C-SPAN. It was in the house gym, and we had him on C-SPAN. And I was actually a former congressman who was there from Mississippi, who was, before I heard Kenneth Starr, I thought he was the slowest talking person I ever saw. I once said to him, his name was the great southern name, Gillespie Vanderbilt Montgomery, known as Sonny.
He had that name built for himself.
Yes,
yeah.
He did. Yeah. And I said, Sonny, he talks even slower than you. And I had once told Sonny Montgomery, he talks so slow, by the time he got to the verb, I forgot the noun. And had to go back.
Which earned you a lot of friends.
I had to look it up.
In his district.
I did, well, no, I didn't have a lot of friends in his district, but I didn't need any friends in his district. So I just did the Stairmaster while I watched Kenneth Starr.
A fine example for all Americans, I think.
I think it is. My doctor.
You brought your mom to the hearings, is that right?
I did. She'd come down. She's very active as a elderly activist. She has a big constituency in Brookline, where, you know, a lot of older people live. Right. Now that you've moved out. And she... Why did my moving out of Brookline cause elderly people to move there? Calmed it down.
The idiot's gone, let's go?
No. The noise level.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But she's down for the Social Security conference, so I brought her there the next day. She's in her 80s and very vigorous, and she has this great kind of white hair. And I brought her up to meet Henry Hyde. And I said to them that I thought it would be useful for them to meet to see if they were compatible in case either one of them ever needed a hair transplant.
They could switch heads.
Yeah. Well, no, just little, not heads, just cords.
There's a little-known fact about you, which is that you are related to Shemp Howard of the Three Stooges. Oh, yeah. And there he is right there.
Now we've got something your audience focuses on.
Yeah. Now we're getting to the good part of this discussion. How do you plead?
Yeah, well,
this is going to come up. This is going to be revealed.
It's a little bit sort of embarrassing because he was really the fourth stooge. I mean, he was.
No, he replaced Curly.
Right.
He replaced Curly. I think there are lower level stooges. Curly Joe
they don't really
is a lower level. Joe Besser is a lower level stooge.
But they weren't. He was one of the brothers. There were three brothers.
Right. The Howard brothers.
Shemp was married, right, but it was Horowitz first.
Right.
And then they They got upscale. They went into the Three Stooges. And he married a cousin of my father's, but we never met.
Oh, really?
No.
Was he a proud member of the family? Do you go around telling people, Shemp, I'm related to Shemp?
Yes, I do. Because
I would be.
Sometimes I try to puff it and say it was Mo, but I have to. You know, politicians have been known to exaggerate.
Don't get caught in that lie. Don't say that under oath.
Not under oath. That's true. Not under oath. No, he's just my cousin.
Sir, is it not true that you're related to Shemp? Not Mo? You are. It's interesting. You are for censure, as a lot of your colleagues are, but you have a unique position of you have been censured. You have been through the process. You have been censured. So to you, it really has a different meaning than most people.
Well, it does to everybody. I was reprimanded by the House 9 years ago. I'm gay, and for many years I wouldn't tell anybody that. In fact, I did find it a little bit ironic that a number of people who were attacking the president for lying about his sex life were some of the same people who were once very angry at me for telling the truth about mine. When I told people I was gay, I had people say, "Why don't you shut up? We don't want to hear about it." In fact, we have an official...
Can't you lie about this?
Well, we have an official... We have an official policy in the military, which I don't like, called "Don't Ask, Don't Tell." And what it says is, don't tell the truth about your sex life. So I did find the rules a little bit out of whack. But I had lied in the past about my sex life, and that led to my being reprimanded. And it did strike me that a lot of my colleagues were being totally hypocritical in saying, "Oh, reprimand doesn't mean anything," or "censure doesn't mean anything." You don't go into politics and put yourself out there and work very hard for your reputation and then not care if you are criticized or reprimanded. It'd be like saying that you didn't care about bad reviews, or, I mean, the fact is...
I wouldn't know. I've never had them.
Was that under oath? Were we back to being under oath?
Oh, at the beginning there was some talk. I don't remember it.
That's, my cousin Mo used to talk that way, too. But I was...
It's going to end with you and me gouging each other in the eye.
No, it's just funny stories about being reprimanded. But it was a very painful moment for me, and it was for anybody. And this notion that censure doesn't mean anything. You know, one of the problems people have in politics is they get into arguments and they say something which they have never believed before in their life and will never believe again in their life, but it's convenient in this one instance. And there ought to be a rule that you probably can't say something in a particular argument for the first time ever. There must be some evidence that you once believed that principle beforehand. Because literally nobody ever thought that censure didn't mean anything. And frankly, from the standpoint of people who wanted to be critical of Bill Clinton, I think they did him a favor. Because I think had he been censured by a bipartisan majority, if a majority of Democrats and Republicans had said, "Mr. President, you shouldn't have lied to us about Monica Lewinsky," that would have been worse for Bill Clinton than having him impeached by a partisan majority. When they impeached him, as you know, his popularity went up.
I mean, yeah. Best thing that ever happened to him.
We got people all over the world who like to rent the Republican Party as their enemies because it does so much. It does so much for you to have them attack you. So they would have been better off joining us in a bipartisan, strong criticism of Clinton's behavior rather than a very partisan impeachment.
Isn't it all a moot point now? Because now he has been impeached. Now, I think once you've been impeached and you're the only second president, the first elected president to be impeached ever in the history of the United States, once you have that...
Oh, they're good at Book on High School and history.
Yeah, well, that's all I was really good at. But once you have that, why would you then censure him? Because, I mean, this seems like it's a moot point now.
They have messed it up. But the Republicans, it's hard to follow. You may have seen there was a letter in the paper yesterday from 4 Republicans who voted to impeach the president on Saturday, who then on Monday wrote a letter to the Senate saying, just because we voted to impeach the president and throw him out of office doesn't mean that you should impeach the president and throw him out of office. And you now have an increasing number of Republicans who voted for impeaching him who are now saying that shouldn't happen. And I think actually Saturday Night Live has got a kinship with the Republicans that you may not have wanted. They have become the Emily Litella party. Having voted to impeach the president, it's now never mind. It's really rather baffling that they would have done that. And you're right. They have now sort of made censure odd.
Right. Now, I wanted to, before we have to go, I wanted to get to Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich has been a foe of yours. You guys never really saw eye to eye since day one. You're not friends. Now he's about to leave. And I thought since it was the holidays and in the spirit of healing, which is really what I'm all about, you should have to say something really nice about Newt Gingrich.
There's a flaw in your reasoning.
What?
I'm Jewish. I'm not bound. I'm not bound by that.
So you're not going to... Wait a minute.
I don't... You could have got me last week.
How about in the spirit of Hanukkah?
Well, that's last week. I will say, yeah, I will miss Newt Gingrich. You should say something nice about someone. I did think in the last couple of weeks, it was interesting how he absented himself from the impeachment issue. And when the bombing of Iraq came up, he did make a very statesmanlike statement. But
right.
I'm not a hypocrite. I think he was a terrible influence, and I'm glad he's leaving.
Okay. Nice holiday sentiment. All right. Well, thank you very much. Fascinating conversation. Congressman, thank you for being here with us. And best of luck straightening out this mess. Congressman Barney Frank, everybody. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.